All right, welcome back to LearnWire. So today's video, we're going to be looking at the top AI software that's out on the market. So I've used the help of Gemini Pro Deep Research in order to pull a bunch of data about all these different softwares, which accounting softwares are actually incorporating and building in AI features into the software that will help save workflow and process for accounting firms and for businesses that use these softwares. So there was a lot of research went into this, a ton of sites and research and so forth. And so I'm going to be sharing with you about the different softwares that actually made the top 10 list. The first one was QuickBooks. This one's owned by Intuit. They own a bunch of other companies like MailChimp, TurboTax, and others. We're at 17 million per month just going to QuickBooks. Remember, that's just this one website that they own, one business and brand. This is the specific accounting software that they own. They're definitely the leader in the industry when it comes to volume of customers and so forth, but it doesn't mean that they're the best when it comes to AI. So you definitely want to stick around for the rest of the report, okay? We're going to come here. We have Sage Intact right here, and I like to go. I'm going to say no thanks right there. This is that. And I like to just look at where they're at from it looks like I've used all my credits right there. But this one, we have the traffic to the site and so forth, and the estimated customers, any information that's out there on the web. Gemini found it where they've reported how many customers they have. And so I've gone and looked at some of these. TaxDome right here as well as another really good one. You want to stick around because there's definitely some really good stuff about this particular software that you want to stick around for that information. Some of these, here's NetGain Tech, and then we have BotKeeper. Some of these don't have a whole lot of traffic, so they're smaller companies. A lot of people don't know about these softwares. Any one of these, if you want me to actually go and reach out to them, get my hands on the software and do a deep dive on it, then just comment below what software that's going to be. This is a roundup post. We're talking in generalities about their pricing and market research on them. If you want a deep dive into one of these softwares, just comment below the software. Like in this case, you would say BotKeeper, deep dive, please. And I'd be happy to do that for you. And then we have, this one's actually just 11, right? It's called 11, but it's on rune11.com. And you can see right over here, they have 11,000 people coming to their site. It's a smaller company, but they're up and coming. They are specifically revolutionary AI-driven accounting software tailored for CPAs and accounting firms. So they are tailored for you as a CPA or accounting firm. They're not building their software for small businesses to use the software to manage their own accounting. So that's very important about these software. Some of them are built for firms and accountants, and others are built for, like QuickBooks, solopreneurs and so forth that can manage it using QuickBooks by themselves. So that's the distinction between some of these. Then you have DocYT right over here. Let's see if we can get the stats on that as well. Yeah, so we got 16,000 visitors right there. So you can see some of these are very small in comparison with like QuickBooks that's getting 17 million people to their site per month, okay? And then we have this Vic.AI. And let's see what they've got going on. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up because this one is another interesting one that came out in the report. So I'm going to pull up SimilarWeb. You only get a certain amount of these either per day or per month on the Google Chrome extension. They get 61,000 per month right there. And then we have this other one, Zenny.ai. This one has 53,000 coming to them. So they have done a little more work on getting customer acquisition and maybe ranking in Google for their website. Unleash the power of AI bookkeeping with a dedicated team of experts as well. So they also have help to do that for you. And then we have the final one over here, which is Blue Dot. I'm going to go ahead and click on the traffic right there. So 14,000. Since this one didn't work, I'll try one more time. Yeah, that one didn't work. So I'm going to go over here, grab the URL and go into SimilarWeb and look this one up real quick. And they're getting 3 million. So Sage is definitely earning the second most popular badge. The Sage is getting almost 4 million visitors to their TaxDome. So you can see how we would go from 17 million to 4 million to 3 million. And then let's check NetGain real quick at 50,000. And you can see how it keeps going down. BotKeeper is at 9,000. So it just keeps going down from popularity real fast. The first three have millions and then it cuts off to 50,000. The big players are QuickBooks, Sage, and TaxDome. So we've conducted a bunch of research, and you can see some of these charts that Google Gemini was able to create for us. The most widely used software is QuickBooks by over 100 million customers reported, and these are all reports that they publicly let us know about. So top contenders by just direct customer account, you're going to have this right over here. So this is going to be second best is Sage, and that was the second one right there. Then TaxStone, then NetGain. And then after NetGain, there's a really steep drop off of all these other ones that are basically unheard of. And that's why I'm making this video for you, just to make these other ones unknown. Now, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies on this video, and I'm not a affiliate of any of these softwares as well. I wanted to put this good content and research out there. Hopefully this will help if you're a business looking for AI accounting software. And we have our highest rated. I'm going to actually be going over this in some charts that I specifically grabbed. I just wanted to show you some really cool graphics that Google Gemini was able to create in this report. I do like this one though, the great divide, popularity versus satisfaction right here. So most widely used is obviously QuickBooks, and then the highest user acclaim is TaxDome. TaxDome earns top marks for user satisfaction by intensely focusing on the specific needs of accounting and tax firms. Its tailored features and strong customer support resonate deeply within its dedicated user base. These are some of the strategic considerations for software selection. You can pause the video and read through those as well. Things that you need to consider when picking your AI software. Now we're going to go in and I'm going to just kind of go over the research that I gathered, the pricing, things like that. So here we go. We're going to talk about the customer base. We kind of went through this and alluded to it, and it's no surprise that like 11, Doc.YT, Vic.AI, Zenny, and Blue Dot, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these bottom 5, they're just up and coming. They just don't have enough data. They probably have a decent customer base because they've made it into this report researching the top AI softwares. So all of these softwares are focused on moving into the future and building AI into their accounting software. This isn't just an overall, because there's a lot of other ones. There's FreshBooks, there's a bunch of other softwares. This particular video and list is based on the ones that are implementing AI into their software. So QuickBooks has over 100 million total customers. It includes various QuickBooks products and global users. And then you have Sage at 22,000 businesses. So that would be actually a lot more people than, because if that's businesses, then it's then more than 22,000 people using it. And then you have TaxDome at 10,000 plus firms. So that's pretty big and significant when you look at firms and businesses using this. So TaxDome is definitely aimed at firms, accounting firms, for them to manage companies and individuals' taxes. Each firm serves multiple end clients. You have NetGain at 7,000 customers, BotKeeper at 200 plus accounting firms, and then we don't have any data on the rest of them. So we're going to look at ratings here. You have to take these with a grain of salt because while, TaxDome right here ends up getting the highest rated right here, 4.7 out of 600 G2 ratings, but then we have Capterra has a lot of ratings as well, because you're looking at 600 at TaxDome, but then 6,200 when you combine Capterra plus G2, you get a lot of ratings. Some of them have Trust Radius. It pulled Trust Radius. I don't know if that's Trustpilot or not, but we're not going to pay too much attention to those. But just keep in mind that, let's just say we go with G2. That one's probably the one that I trust the most when it comes to the website in general and the ratings. Just because maybe QuickBooks has a 4-star and maybe TaxDome has a 4.7, but then you're looking at, what is that? 10 times more, almost 10 times more ratings and still maintaining a 4-star. You have to consider that when it comes to QuickBooks and why so many people are using QuickBooks. So you kind of have to keep that into consideration. But at the end of the day, if you're looking through here and let's just say, for example, you're looking at 11 and they're at a 4.1 with more ratings, then I don't know how they have more ratings, but the report is showing that they have more ratings than QuickBooks. And so you want to just look at the difference in how many ratings plus the actual rating that it is receiving. The ratings, they're all basically over 4 stars, so that's really good. Some of it we didn't really have enough data because they're still too new, but the ratings at 4 stars or higher means that they're all probably decent or good software, meaning that you're probably not going to be disappointed if you pick up any one of them. It's really going to come down to which one solves the business need that you have. They all pass with respectable ratings. When you look down here at Doc.YT, Vic.AI, and Zenny, they're just getting started. They all have under 100 reviews. And so it's not a whole lot to go off of, which the other ones have hundreds or thousands to go off of. And then we come over here and we look at pricing simplified. So the pricing chart that actually was created, because a lot of these have like 10 tiers and all kinds of stuff. So I actually took all that data and I plugged all that data that Google Gemini Deep Research did for me into Claude, because it's better at simplifying things and writing reports and so forth. And so it actually came up with this for me. It kind of simplified everything. And I told it to kind of rank everything from the how expensive they are to not. Now, I don't know what Wave is, because we come back over here. I'm not seeing what the report gave us. One that is called Wave. Not really sure which one that one is, but we'll go into the 11 software is $9 per month per entity. And then you have your max enterprise. So what I said, because a lot of them had like 10 to like the QuickBooks one had maybe 20 different pricing levels and all kinds of different stuff, depending on all your packages and stuff. So I said, hey, I want the lowest cost entry level price per user, and then give me the max enterprise price, like what you would pay per accountant or per month. And that's why we got these two simplified charts. With 11 software, you got $9 a month and then $190 per month for an accountant at the max enterprise level. So let's say you're an accountant and you have hundreds of customers, you would still only be paying $190 a month to utilize the tool as a enterprise or as a, a full, like an accounting agency, if you will. QuickBooks lowest cost is probably have a free version to check it out, but $20 a month is going to get you all the basics. And then you can go up to the enterprise price, which is $447 per month, likely at the agency level when you have multiple users using your account and so forth. And then you have solopreneur to diamond enterprise. And then you have fresh. So yeah, this one pulled in FreshBooks and TaxDome. Some of these, I don't know why it pulled those in, because I didn't even give that information to Claude. So it might have went out and did some additional research. But we have TaxDome. I'm just going to go over the ones that I know are on the original AI software report. So you have TaxDome at $58 per month. It's more expensive to get going on it. And then you can go up to $100 per month as well. And then you can see the note down here, monthly equivalent of pricing. If there's a star like down here, that means that these NetGain, Sage, and Vic, they don't have monthlies. You have to sign up at the annual level, and it would be the equivalent of $480 a month. These are the pricing charts right over here. Obviously, your dominant players right over here. And it's kind of nice to know that there's a correlation between the most popular softwares being TaxDome and QuickBooks. And where's the other one? With the exception of Sage, that one is very expensive. But TaxDome and QuickBooks are the most affordable to get into, but they're also the highest rated and the most used as well. So just keep those in mind. So you can see the key takeaways: budget friendly, 11 software and QuickBooks for small businesses. You can see that 11 software way up at the top, which is as low as $9 a month. Then you have mid-market, TaxDome, BotKeeper, and DocYT. And then you have your enterprise. If you need enterprise levels, Sage, Intact, and Vic.AI start at $20,000 annually is what the report is saying. And that actually makes sense. If you're an agency and a firm, you're probably bringing in millions of dollars. It would definitely be respectable that the number one tool you need in your business is accounting software. Back in my corporate days, inventory software cost a lot. And there are companies that pay $20,000 a month to use inventory software and different things as well. That is not a scary number to me, depending on businesses. The pricing gap between small business tools, $0 to $100 a month, and enterprise solutions at $1,500 plus a monthly is significant, reflecting very different feature sets and target markets. So we're going to go over here, and I asked Google Gemini Deep Research, I said, out of all these AI accounting softwares, which one seems to have the most cutting edge AI accounting functions? It's kind of funny because they all are claiming they have the most cutting edge AI technology. While many of these platforms showcase impressive AI features, Vic.AI and Intuit Assist. So the Intuit would be QuickBooks, and there would be like another kind of layer on top of QuickBooks that's called Intuit Assist that seem to highlight particular cutting edge aspects. Vic.AI's focus on AP autonomy and replacing legacy systems with advanced AI for invoice processing suggests a deep application of AI in a core accounting function. Intuit Assist's use of generative AI for natural language interaction and personalized financial insights also represents a leading edge application. Sage Copilot with its generative AI for analysis and task prioritization, and Just Ask Zero with its conversational task completion also demonstrate advanced AI functionalities. DocYT and Zenny's emphasis on real-time AI-driven bookkeeping and financial dashboards are also significant. So I'll pause there for a second. So that sounds more up my alley right there with these last two, YT and Zenny. I would want to provide a report or have the software pull a report from either my bank or PayPal and actually be able to take the transaction and be trained on it and say, hey, this is the accounting code that we're going to assign to this transaction immediately. And so it means way, way less time that you have to go and edit and proofread all of your spreadsheets and data. So I do really like that automation, AI automation right there. Ultimately, the most cutting edge can depend on the specific AI application one values most. Autonomous processing, generative conversational AI. And that generative conversational AI is where you can just chat bot, right? Say, hey, create a report for me about X, and then it'll create that, much like you use Claude and ChatGPT and Google Gemini and so forth. And so that's where the generative AI comes in. I know that Intuit QuickBooks does do that, which is super cool. And then you have your predictive analytics. Vic.AI's deep dive into autonomous AP and its generative AI for broad financial interaction appear to be at the forefront of the described capabilities. So that's where it's going with Vic.AI, and it is giving Intuit or QuickBooks quite a bit of credit right here as well. So here's the bottom line on accounting software. QuickBooks dominates with millions of users, but that doesn't mean it's the best. TaxDome actually takes the crown for highest user satisfaction with a 4.7 out of 5 rating across thousands of reviews. So keep that in mind. Definitely worth checking out. The key takeaway, don't just go with what's popular, right? Or what has the most ratings or even what has the highest ratings. Dig into what actually works for your specific needs. If you're running an accounting firm, TaxDome's specialized features might serve you way better than QuickBooks' general approach. QuickBooks, I kind of think of as a small business, maybe up to mid-sized business, and then also individually, like if you're running your own company, maybe 5 employees, or maybe you're even a solopreneur like me, QuickBooks, and I don't use QuickBooks, I've got something to say in just a minute about what I'm using. QuickBooks is generally thought of as a smaller type company, but there are big companies that use it. My company I used to work for, $100 million company, also used QuickBooks. So large companies use it, but it is definitely geared and catered also to solopreneurs or individuals. So keep that in mind. And then TaxDome would be great for your firm or your accounting firm. If you need enterprise level functionality, Sage and Tax, 22,000 plus businesses, customers can't be wrong. The most important thing is to match the software to your actual requirements, not just grab what everyone else is using or telling you to use. So sometimes the best tool isn't the most famous one. It's the one that solves your specific problems without the headaches. That's a very important sentence right there. Just keep that part in mind because this is completely true. As I use software that didn't make this list for my accounting, and it connects to PayPal and my bank and makes my accounting very easy for my solopreneur business. But this software probably would not work for mid to large companies as it's missing a lot of features. It doesn't really have AI in there. It does have like an algorithm where you can tell it these transactions, always assign them to an expense or always assign them as this or that or whatever accounting category you want to put them in. But I really love how it connects to my PayPal. Before I chose my software, mine's based out of London. It's called 10-Minute Accounts. You can go look it up at 10-Minute Accounts. It works just great. I've been using it for the last 5 years of my business, and it works really well for me to manage my online digital business. But like I said, if you're a business that is growing and you have multiple employees and so forth, it might not be this. It definitely doesn't have AI and a lot of production and so forth. At some point, I may end up having to move to another software, but I put this in here just to show you that that works great for me because it solved a problem that QuickBooks apparently does hook up to PayPal as well. But I heard and did a lot of research that it didn't work that well. It always lost connection. It didn't pull in all the data correctly. And so this other one has just worked flawless for me. So that's why I've just chose to stick with it. And it's got a great price. You just pay annually. It's like $100 for the entire year. And I've been using it. Like I said, it's based overseas in London. It's a small company, but it just works. It connects to my PayPal, my bank, and makes my accounting very easy for my solopreneur business. But this software probably would not work for mid to large companies as it's missing a lot of features. Test out each software to see which fits your business needs. Hopefully you got value from this video. What do you guys think? Are you using any of these softwares? Comment down below which one is your favorite. And if there's any that you want me to do a deep dive individual review for, comment those below and I'd be happy to go and see if I can get my hands on the software and do a deep. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.